This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. An Anglicare commissioned report has backed the banning of poker machines from Tasmania's pubs and clubs. It suggests the removal would see more than $100 million redirected from pokey losses and back into the other local businesses. But the state government says gaming has a big impact in propping up our hospitality industry and jobs.
Fresh from giving testimony in Parliament, Anglicare shares its views on pokies.
We are at a unique moment in this state on this issue. We have the opportunity to make a decision for our future that is healthier and for a more thriving Tasmania.
A parliamentary inquiry is examining the future of gaming in Tasmania when Federal Hotel's exclusive licence expires in 2023. Today it restarted public hearings in Hobart with witnesses including the Liquor and Gaming Commission. Its chair told the committee future licences should have restricted durations so that authorities can respond to social and economic changes.
But I would be personally, and I guess as a regulator, horrified with in perpetuity. I think that any society shouldn't give away anything in perpetuity.
Anglicare has submitted its own report to the inquiry, which suggests the removal of gaming machines from pubs and clubs would see $113 million pumped back into other local businesses.
I'd say the social costs of gambling outweigh the economic benefits. Any activity will give you economic benefits, but if you compute the costs associated with it, same with cigarettes.
And we want the committee to consider the scenario of taking poker machines out of hotels and clubs.
But the hospitality industry says poker machines generate a solid revenue stream and provide jobs in regional areas.
Well, for a lot of the regional communities that have pubs that have poker machines, it generally keeps the doors open for that venue. What it allows them to do is employ staff in the venue.
The government says the benefits flow through the state.
Pokies do deliver an important revenue stream into the hospitality sector. The hospitality sector is a very important employer for Tasmania, and we're a very strong defender of the industry.
The report into gaming is due to be delivered to Parliament next month. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
A Tasmanian coroner has criticised the federal authority responsible for investigating aircraft incidents. Simon Cooper today releasing findings into an aircraft crash off the Tasman Peninsula that killed Samuel Langford and Timothy Jones. The plane they'd been taking pictures of the 2014 Sydney Hobart yacht race when the coroner said it stalled and wasn't flying high enough to recover. Simon Cooper criticised the Australian Transport Safety Bureau for refusing his request for copies of witness statements, saying it was surprising and disappointing. The ATSB says it's abided by standard practice to protect witness disclosures and had offered to brief the coroner on its investigation. Police have slammed the fact 14 motorists were caught running red lights within Hobart CBD in a single hour yesterday. The penalty for running a red or yellow traffic light is $159, plus the loss of 3 demerit points. Pedestrians can also be fined $39 for walking on a red light. The future of Tasmanian salmon farming will be offshore, according to industry players and the state government. Huon Aquaculture has been given the go-ahead to research the feasibility of building pens in deeper oceanic waters.
2 kilometres from the shore, this is where much of Huon Aquaculture's salmon is grown. But the company now wants to build fish farms here, 6 kilometres out to sea.
The fish performance is fantastic. And we also have less impact on the environment. Certainly with the benthic underneath the pens, there's a lot more scouring of the seafloor and a lot more dilution.
The future of salmon farming is oceanic.
Huon has received a research permit to allow environmental monitoring equipment to be deployed off South Bruny Island. It will track the conditions for 1 year and, if feasible, will deploy prototype farming equipment.
Stage 3 will be pilot scale farming in one or more of those sites that we're investigating.
Following yesterday's release of the draft Sustainable Industry Growth Plan, Jeremy Rockcliffe was today surveying the area earmarked for future growth.
That is a grow zone and has a lot of potential, and as you can see, a lot of resources, jobs, funding, go into the salmon industry.
Clearly, the government hasn't provided a definition of oceanic, and that's a starting point. It's a basic starting point.
The Minister determined to not rock the boat, adamant there will be stringent environmental auditing with any development.
We now need to move with the times, strengthen our regulatory environment and the monitoring and compliance.
Well, it's surprising that the Minister is prioritising looking into the future and refusing to deal with the concerns the community have right now.
The industry is worth $730 million to the economy. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
Tasmania's farming body is disappointed the government is pushing ahead with efforts to contain blueberry rust rather than trying to eradicate the disease entirely. The Primary Industries Department's decision to continue its current policy is based on advice from agriculture experts locally and interstate, but growers say the approach isn't working.
This time last year, a major outbreak of blueberry rust forced growers to be on high alert for the potentially devastating disease. Te Pipwe responded, making a decision to contain the virus by regulating affected properties. But the state's farming body says that decision allowed the problem to worsen.
If a decision had been made in 2016 to eradicate it at that time, when the infection was in a very small number of plants, it was possible at that time to eradicate.
Now, the option of trying to eliminate blueberry rust is being rejected again. Te Pipwe says scientific advice finds the problem is too far gone and eradication is simply not possible.
We could eradicate every single blueberry plant in Tasmania, but we'd also eradicate an entire industry.
At the moment, 3 properties in the state's north are infected, restricting access to interstate and international markets. The farmers' body is mainly worried about rust spreading to organic growers, where the disease is harder to control.
And the blueberry rust has shown that perhaps our biosecurity system isn't as rigorous or as strong as we had anticipated and hoped that it would be.
Advice provided to Te Pipwe also took into account techniques used interstate. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
The Tasmanian Greens Party has launched its candidates to run in the Franklin electorate for the state election. Member of Parliament Rosalie Woodruff is leading the ticket.
I will be continuing to talk to the community. This community wants people to listen to them and not make decisions behind closed doors. They want people who have a conversation with them, and I will continue to do that in the lead up to this election.
Kingborough Councillor Richard Atkinson is second on the Greens ticket, with small business owner Holly Ewan the third. The state election is due in March next year. A retired high-ranking Navy official is Tasmania's new weapon in the fight for lucrative defence contracts. Rear Admiral Steve Gilmore has been appointed by the state government as a defence advocate. It's hoped his experience will help local manufacturers secure more of the $30 billion defence spend every year.
Key part of our defence strategy.
There's always opportunities to do more, and part of the role that I'll have is to look for those opportunities to help industry focus and be further successful.
While it's true to say that we've been unsuccessful with a couple of tenders, we've also had ongoing successes here in Tasmania. We need to celebrate them. Experience is a great opportunity.
The role comes at a cost of around $120,000 a year. Professional scientists have given a quirky interpretation of the world and its future. Today's fiery fair, a taste of what's to come as scientists prepare to entertain the nation this week.
It may be a childhood toy, but today students were shown teddies can be used in experiments too. Thousands of wide-eyed students spending their Friday taking part in quirky displays at the kick-off event for National Science Week.
Using things like liquid nitrogen, fire, explosions, marshmallow cannons, and they're just all ways to, I guess, put the science in a context that's going to intrigue the kids, get them excited about science.
I like to hear about how people work with the nature, with their science.
Professionals working to promote the buzz and excitement around the industry, hoping to gain interest from inquisitive minds.
Not just adults, it's really important that kids, because they're the ones that ask the best questions, they're the ones that are the scientists of the future, to meet those scientists so that they can really get a sense of how fascinating science can be.
To help them connect with science and engage with science, which is really what National Science Week is all about.
Grade 5 student Henry has already decided he wants to work in the science sector.
I'd like to do a whole range of different ones, so I'd have to try it out first.
I saw an inflatable brain and virtual reality. That's just wonderful.
The event is open from 9 to 4 tomorrow. Hundreds of events will be held statewide for National Science Week. Louise Hedger, Southern Cross News.
The partnership between AFL Tasmania and the Hawthorn Football Club has been further strengthened thanks to a new joint initiative aimed at encouraging school students to lead active, healthy lifestyles while growing Aussie rules participation levels across the state.
To grow healthier, happier young people. And that's a big part of Hawthorn's mantra moving forward, and we're delighted that that also is shared with AFL Tasmania.
To be able to capture the intention and engage young boys and girls in Tasmania and bring them into the game.
The Looking After Me program will be run in more than 60 Tasmanian schools. An acclaimed chef who has run kitchens in Australia and London is the latest to stop by a Tasmanian cooking institution. Mike McInerney is currently helping students at Drysdale prepare a 7-course menu with dishes including chicken pate, Robins Island beef and local lamb. McInerney says he takes a down-to-earth approach to his teaching, having become a chef by chance in the early 90s.
I never thought I'd be a chef. It just happened one day where I decided I'd do it. I worked very hard and I'm really happy that I did it. There's nothing else I'd rather do. So keep at it. Don't be deterred by the hours.
McInerney is the 9th and final guest to come to Drysdale this year as part of the Great Chefs series. Now look at the day's business and finance with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. Increasing tension between the US and North Korea has sparked a widespread sell-off that's wiped almost $23 billion from the Australian share market. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 67.8 points. And a short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 78.6 US cents and 107.85 New Zealand cents.
Lauderdale and Hobart City will head into tomorrow's TSL clash with some big ins and some devastating outs. It's a must-win for the D's if they're to make finals, but the red-hot Bombers are looking like an all but impossible task. Just a few weeks ago, the D's assistant coach was questioning whether his young side even deserved to be in the finals mix. But after their gutsy win over the more fancied Launceston, Bormella has changed his tune.
To be against the breeze in the last quarter with Lonnie coming at us to hold on, guys are standing up, guys that hadn't stood up before, and we got a lot of belief out of that.
But that win came at a heavy cost, with on-baller Callendell sidelined with a hamstring, along with 2 other big names.
Michael Biggood and Kane Richter both suffered knee injuries, so we won't see them again this year, unfortunately.
The outs will force the D's to go with a smaller side for tomorrow's Lauderdale Oval clash, with Bormella hoping speed proves the key to handing the Bombers their first loss in 13 matches.
We'll go unpredictable, we'll go quick the way we have all year, and give it everything.
Robbie McManus will miss for Lauderdale, but it should make little difference, with Ryan Wiggins returning, along with danger man Philip Bell-Chambers.
Probably our most damaging player. He can play back, forward, mid, breaks the lines every time. He uses the ball so well and he's so strong, doesn't lose his contest.
Not at all, it's absolutely fantastic. We want to play, we don't want them resting players, we don't want them looking towards finals, we want them at full strength.
The Bombers have fallen short in the second round of finals the past 2 years running, but having been labelled as arguably the best side in the club's history, Winter isn't phased.
Look, I think the belief's there that they can do it. There's certainly no demons in the cupboard coming at us with finals.
As to which side he'd like to face in a hypothetical premiership match.
I think North are the best team, so we certainly don't match up that well against them. So probably Glenorchy, the ones that we've done okay against this year.
The opening bounce is at 2 p.m. AFL scouts will be watching Tasmania's brightest young prospects during a one-off exhibition match in Melbourne tomorrow. A team made up of the top players from the state's independent schools boarded flights today to play students from Victoria. The match intends to challenge the students against tough competition while also being a reward for sticking with school sport throughout the season.
I reckon it'll be really tough. You know, there's some hopeful draftees in there this year, so it should be a good experience for us then.
A few of them play at state league senior level. We've got under 18, under 16 Mariner boys here, so some boys have been overlooked within those programs, but this is obviously another opportunity for them to showcase the skills they've got.
It's the first time a representative team from Tasmania has travelled interstate to play against other independent schools league. Meantime, the TSL has concluded its investigation into a half-time incident during the match between North Launceston and Glenorchy at UTAS Stadium last Saturday. Clarence trainer Randall Castle has accepted a one-match suspension for allegedly striking North Launceston assistant coach Jay Lockhart during an altercation, and both clubs have been issued suspended fines due to inappropriate conduct in the interchange area. Well, after building on the club's horror NPL season last year, Lino Shuley has signed on to coach the Northern Rangers for 2018. The club still has a chance at some silverware this year, on track to qualify for the end-of-season League Cup tournament.
The Rangers only won one game last year, finishing dead last on the ladder. Now sitting sixth, Shuley has been rewarded for the young squad's improvement.
Very pleased, very happy. It means I did something right during the course of the year. So
a win this Sunday against Kingborough will cement the Rangers' spot on the ladder, earning them a place in the end-of-season League Cup tournament. But Shuley isn't getting ahead of himself in the hunt for silverware, instead looking to build into a formidable outfit for next year.
We're looking to recruit a couple of tall guys, a good goal shooter, and see how we go from there. Obviously you want better results and more results, but if I look back at the end, I'll be happy with the year we've had.
Meantime, cricket participation levels around the state are at an all-time high, according to the annual National Cricket Census released today, with more than 43,000 Tasmanians participating in the sport over the past year.
A decade ago, the participation would have been around 15,000, so we've had about 8 to 10% growth year on year since then, and we had 12.5% growth in the year just gone.
The figures also showing a 24% increase in female participation to more than 13,000.
Tasmania's Hamish Peacock has been unlucky to miss out on the javelin at the javelin final, at the World Athletics Championships in what's been described as one of the greatest qualifying rounds in the event's history. Peacock threw clear of the 82-metre mark in 2 of his 3 qualifying throws, but he was edged out of the top 12 thanks to some extraordinary efforts from his rivals. Peacock's best of 82.46 metres is the furthest throw in World Championship history not to secure a spot in the final. Will Clark has begun his campaign at the Colorado Classic. The Tasmanian cyclist didn't make an impact on stage 1, finishing among the peloton in 51st place. Clark is back in the saddle tomorrow for stage 2, which features more than 7,000 feet of climbing. There's good news for Jake Birtwistle. The Tasmanian has been selected in the national team for the Triathlon World Championship Grand Final next month. The 22-year-old will be among 3 men wearing the green and gold at the event in the Netherlands. Birtwistle, who is ranked 6th in the world, is currently training in Spain.
Good evening. Hobart and Launceston 14 today. Burnie and Devonport a top of 13 degrees. Around the state, the top was 15 at Friendly Beaches. And after the overnight rain, only a few showers today over the west and far north. St Helens 14 degrees. Lowhead, Wynyard Grove, Bushy Park, Strawn and the Islands all 13. And Lyawini a top of 5. There is a cold, unstable air mass over Tasmania with the front to the west. Another cold front is also moving into the picture near WA. The rest of the nation mostly cloud-free today. Closer up and convective cloud over the state today in that vigorous airstream across us. Tomorrow, the next front moves our way from a southerly direction. Another cold front and low moves slowly to the east as they intensify as well. Winds west to southwesterly at 30 to 40 knots around the coastline and to 25 knots inland. An easing is expected later in the day tomorrow. Swells up to 7 metres in western and southern waters. There are the warnings: a gale warning for all Tasmanian coastal waters, a strong wind warning for inshore waters in the southeast, a small craft wind alert for the lakes. Also, we have a warning to sheep graziers for all districts and a flood watch for all northeastern river basins and the Huon River. Tomorrow's forecast: showery with winds easing for Hobart, just 12 degrees, only 8 for Maydena and 9 for Oatlands. Launceston, a shower or 2 clearing, 13 the top, 13 also for Devonport, -1 overnight for Lyawini, a top of 4 tomorrow. For Burnie, a shower or two, a windy day and 13, 12 the top for Strawn, windy for Marrawar with showers easing, 13 the maximum. And in the east, St Helens a shower or two, 14, 14 also for Swansea, Orford, winds easing later and 12 degrees. On Sunday, mainly fine until a shower develops over the north and west later in the day. Showers again on Monday, more likely over the west and far south, with rain extending statewide on Tuesday. Rain easing from Perth tomorrow, some cloud for Adelaide, a few showers in Melbourne and fine for most of the other centres. It's cloudy and still windy around the state, 9 degrees in Hobart, partly cloudy in Launceston, 10 degrees in Devonport, and that's the way it's going to be for a couple of days, Rach.
OK, thank you for that, Murph. Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for your company. I look forward to seeing you over the weekend. Good night.